when it comes to adding fat to your ground game, what's y'all's opinion on adding fat?
I used to add fat. I'd either do, it kind of depends, beef, or we used to a long time just do the bacon ends and pieces. And to me, it seems like it freezer burns quicker. It don't last as long in the freezer.
If you add fat? So are you team no fat? Don't add any?
The deer I killed this year and some my dad I ground up last year, I didn't put no fat in it.
What about you?
So if I'm doing ground for like hamburgers, which I don't ever do a deer burger or nothing like that, but if I'm using it for chili and spaghetti, no fat. If it's just going to be ground deer, no fat. Now, if I'm making breakfast sausage, team pork all the way.
Hey, welcome back to the Buck Junkie Podcast. We are back down here at the farm hanging out today.
Watching it rain.
We ain't going to get no work done outside today.
No, it's rotting outside today.
But we did get to go make a little run and check drainage because that's kind of what went on last week.
It ain't got a choice but to drain today.
We must have got a lot of rain last night.
Shoot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It didn't wake you up about 4 o'clock?
No.
Oh, no, it was.
Was it coming down?
It didn't wake me up, but.
No. In my room, it's blacked out. You ain't going to hear nothing.
When I go down the driveway and them culverts are flowing, it done some raining.
Yeah. That whole bean field over at Chuck's was flooded. Did you see that?
It looks like a duck hole.
We, me and Mikey rode down. He went and brought a mini X in did y'all do that Friday when y'all were cutting with the
Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
It wasn't no mini X.
Yeah. It was an X.
Yeah. Mikey said, we're going to borrow your truck. Go pick up that mini X. Okay, let's go. We pull up and it's a 20,000 pound excavator.
Yeah.
It ain't no mini to it.
But it worked. It cut that. You kept it out of the mud hole plot. That was the thing. We had water coming down a main ditch, and it was a bunch of trees kind of hanging it up.
Them damn trees and gotten I don't know. When you start letting trees get on your ditch banks and stuff, the root balls get out in the ditch.
It hangs everything.
And it catches everything. And some of them start growing out sideways or fall over against other trees, and they create a pinch point for everything. I mean, any logs or leaves or anything that comes, they just pretty much build a dam right there in the middle of your ditch, and then it comes out. So
it's flowing now.
We dug up a bunch of trees, pulled them out of the ditch, and built the levee down the food plot side of it to keep it going in there.
Man, the food plots are looking good. You're looking good at the house now?
Oh, no. The deer's done about wiped mine out completely.
I don't know. Me and Mikey.
They look good.
Birds still in the corn.
And a lot of
deer. Man, we saw a pretty good buck today.
Yeah,
he ain't dropped his horns. He was running with some does. I think it's that one that we wanted to grow another year. He's hanging out in that kudzu over there.
That's good deer.
And I think we even went and checked on the new place over there and saw a bunch of turkey on the way over there.
Mm-hmm.
So
we ain't got no turkey over here.
They're all on neighbors.
Yeah.
Jump fences, or you going to shoot them?
There ain't no turkeys up here.
We're going to start out with the news or updates. We got the NWTF this week.
Man, I can't wait.
Look, if y'all are listening and you're at the NWTF or going to it this weekend, y'all keep an eye out for Mark and Jamie. Y'all are both going to be there.
We'll be there.
There's 2 non-turkey killers are going to the Turkey Federation.
Y'all going to learn. Why not?
Oh,
yeah. I'm
better than my odds.
Ain't nobody going to ask you how many turkeys you killed.
We're going to lie.
Killed one.
Oh, we kill the limit every year. Nobody know no difference.
Yeah.
No, I'm going on. I got 2 missions. I want to try on every turkey vest they got because I want to find me my perfect turkey vest.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to put my hands on another Benelli M2.
Is that what you're going to get a turkey gun?
It might come back to Mississippi with me.
You just,
how much money are you taking? Just credit card? It don't matter.
Debit card. It don't matter. It'll swipe. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to do the full Rob Roberts edition decked out just because that is a lot of money. Yeah. And I'm not a professional turkey.
What's your budget for a turkey gun?
Me? What's my budget?
Yeah.
Get it cheap as I can get it.
So you talking?
You was looking over here.
Well, I want everybody to say what because Mike, you got the most experience turkey hunting. So if you're getting started in turkey hunting,
don't go spend $2,000 on turkey gun.
What should be the beginner turkey gun budget?
$870. Just buy you an $870.
Just go to
or a Benelli Nova.
I was gonna say a Benelli Nova.
So you're $300 or $400.
Yeah, you buy one of those, and you because it's a versatile gun, anyways. It's then don't buy the turkey edition. Just buy you one and get you a turkey choke and put in it, and those 2 guns will perform well enough.
Oh, nowadays with
the chokes and the shells
and the TSS, you can make a cheap gun a bad gun. I mean, it's.
I had my first shotgun I bought my own money was a Benelli Nova. And it was a rattling, you think is the biggest piece of junk. And I love that gun because you couldn't kill it. It was like 870. Like it was unbeatable.
Throw it out in the middle.
Throw it out in the middle. It don't matter.
Yeah.
And it patterned unbelievable. I mean, back then, this was 20 years ago, but you run some 3.5 Winchester number 5s, and I think I had a kicked Goblin Thunder, and 60 yards, 70 yards, it was dead. And I think you and somebody, you borrowed the gun one time and took it. I can't remember who you took hunting, but killed a bird with it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I don't know. It's a good gun for the money for sure.
Yeah, those two guns are kind of proven turkey guns over the years, and they're not very expensive. So, yeah, if you was going to start out now, once you get up into turkey hunting, you want something a little more comfortable, or you want a pistol grip or a thumb hold, or you want to change to an automatic or a 20 gauge or something like that. There's
something short.
It's something that is endless on that.
So what are you looking for in a turkey? You want something, I mean, you want a gun that's going to shoot, a reliable gun, but are you worried about the weight of it, the length of it,
I
look of it? I mean,
I like a shorter barrel on a turkey gun. 20-inch barrel. 20,
so you don't want the most standard.
The standard ones are fine.
28,
starting
right?
out
26, 28.
But there's nothing wrong with them. It's just
having to lug it around.
I prefer a shorter gun, knocks off some of the weight. Plus I can put. With the turkey chokes and the loads they have now, I can shoot that longer gun and perform just as good as one with a longer barrel on it.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie? You gonna buy a gun?
No.
What are you gonna turkey hunt with this year?
If I go, if what little bit I go, would probably at that 12 gauge still, at Browning 12 gauge.
I got me a new one. I'm gonna have to do a video on it.
I'm gonna try to.
I went on, broke down, and got me a dedicated turkey. You know why? Because I was going turkey hunting. I'd have the wrong choke with me. I'm going dove hunting. I'd have the wrong choke with me because I just got a Benelli. It's a 3. It's a versatile gun. You can use it. I killed 2 birds with it last year, but I said, man, if I'm gonna get into turkey hunting, I'm gonna go ahead and get me a turkey gun. So I'll do a video on what I got.
Yeah,
he's a bad dude.
Once you start turkey hunting, like your turkey gun, that's what you use it for.
So I have a hard time comprehending that.
A turkey gun?
Yeah, spend $2,000 on something that's for what, 2?
I got a deer gun.
You got a deer rifle?
Yeah, but
I got a duck gun.
Yeah, but
I got a dove gun.
What I'm saying,
I use that. I like that Monte Feltro for
on a 12 gauge. Or 20 gauge either one. I can rabbit hunt. I can squirrel hunt. I can dove hunt.
Well, hold on. If you're going to go by that method, you also can put a slug in it and deer hunt. So give me your deer rifle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A shotgun is the most versatile gun out there. 100%. Mm-hmm. I want a turkey gun because I'm kind of like you. When I get ready to go turkey, I reach it there and I know it's there. I know it's ready. I know what it does. It's grouping. It's no guesswork.
I don't have to mess with it.
Right.
So what do you get?
What makes a turkey gun a turkey gun?
I mean, like Rob Roberts. What all did he do to it that's that much?
I'm not the correct guy to ask that, but
I know they cone it and all.
Force and cone. It's his chokes. I think it's got some different springs in it and just hopping it up, basically. I don't know that
they pattern it up for you.
I think so. I think you actually, when you get one of their guns, you get the piece of paper they pattern it with it.
I mean, I know they do that with like custom deer rifles, stuff like that. It's they set it up and they build it with the ammo they're gonna shoot and stuff like that.
I'm gonna go up there with enough money to buy a Rob Roberts, but I don't know that's what I'm gonna come home with.
What is that? $2,500?
I think when I was up there last year, it was 23 or 25. But again, I have no problem buying a plain Jane M2 20 gauge with a 24-inch barrel. And
are you going to buy a 20 gauge? Is that what you're going to take out with 20 gauge?
20 gauge.
What's your gauge? What do you carry, Mike?
I carry a 12 gauge when I carry a gun, but 90% of the time I don't even carry a gun.
You just a caller.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, you got to take one from on your side. Never fails.
I'd take a 12 gauge, but the 20 gauges they have now pattern just as good as a 12 gauge.
A lot of guys are hunting 410s with them.
So pretty much when we get back, from what I'm hearing between talking to Brad and Mark,
we're probably both going to be in the doghouse.
Going to be in trouble when they get back because they can both
buying guns.
See, my wife's going to be with me, so I'll be in trouble before I get back.
You just need to break it into her on the way up there. Go and look for this gun. I got a good deal on one.
I told her last year when we left.
Get it for $2,500. That's so cheap.
Yeah. You see this gun right here? I'm coming back to get it next year.
Or just go ahead and buy her something and then give it to her before you go. That way she feels
Valentine's Day's coming up.
She's getting. I've been working on raised garden beds in my backyard for 2 weeks. She's getting her gift.
So you fixing to put her to growing vegetables. And you going turkey hunting this spring.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to shoot no turkeys, but I'm going.
Oh, we go kill some turkeys. We got
We ain't got none over here.
Yeah, but we're going to different states.
That's right.
Are you going to Indiana?
Mm-hmm.
Alabama? I'm going. Me and Mike are probably going to Arkansas. Definitely going to Texas. I'm going to try to ride over there here before turkey season. I got to go check that property out.
But no, we're looking forward to NWTF. It's going to be a good time. We got I don't know how big.
What booth do you need to may find y'all at? Where y'all going to be bouncing around? We're
going to be at the AOB booth, which is going to be Grilla Grills, the pellet grills. We're going to be there with
meat, the processing stuff.
Pretty sure Boggs is going to be there with them. So we'll be either there or over at the Monarch Hunting Blinds with Trent Ellis. And I'm pretty sure Nomad Hunting Clothing is going to be with them too. So we'll be out and about. We got to go pay our boys at Rolling Thunder, go give them a visit.
Yep. That's a cool. When you can ask those guys for information on that event. I know. I think it was June 6th, but they're doing it's a golf it's like a golf scramble. It's open for anybody, but there's a dinner on Friday night. We're going to be there cooking dinner. We'll cook a hog there.
Yeah.
At the Rolling Thunder headquarters up in
what's the guy's name?
Tennessee.
I know I got it on my phone.
Jody, I was talking to Jody this morning. He's like, oh, yeah, I think he said Spencer.
Spencer's the owner,
Jacob German.
There's a Jacob German was a guy with our contact, but I hadn't met Spencer yet, but I think he owns Rolling Thunder Game Calls. But y'all keep an eye out for them locally in the news. We got a couple banquets coming up within the next several weeks. The first one will be the 21st. That's going to be, I think it's the DeSoto or Hernando chapter of NWTF. That one's coming up. You can go to their Facebook page and find out. We'll try to post the information on that one. And then right over in March was the Lewisburg DU, Ducks Unlimited for the Lewisburg High School. Their Lewisburg DU chapter is doing one. That was a fun one last year.
So on that's getting more the younger generation involved with it.
Well, I think they do that, and I think they do it to support the sports program, the athletic department or something, Lewisburg High School, but it definitely does get kids involved because last year they had, how they always have the girls at those banquets?
Yeah.
They had the kids out there trying to, help do all that stuff too, so.
You got to watch. They kind of lure you into that.
Oh, no, that's a whole thing now. You go to one of those banquets, they go have pretty women there trying to sell you. They're there to raise money for whatever organization they're doing, so. They're going to try to get you to buy the books and tickets, and they're going to get you to.
Usually buy them.
What's the call? They always have a call. Either it's like a box call that you buy and you get a chance at a gun, or a duck call. If you buy one of those, you get a chance at a gun. I don't know. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy them. Usually, there's something decent to eat and good.
It's Hooters on steroids with turkey hunting.
Kinda. It ain't. I mean, there's. You can take your wife. It ain't like it's.
Oh yeah, you can. Nothing. You could be looking at that plate the whole time on the table. You ain't gonna be glancing around.
Just be careful, them one of a kind.
Yeah. They got Mikey on one of a kind turkey, metal turkey sculpture, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of a kind. I was the high bidder on it. Me and another guy's going back and forth. I stopped and I was like, "All right, that's enough." And that guy stopped. And he was like, "All right." He said, "What if I can get you both of them for this, or get you both one for this?" I said, "I thought it was one of a kind." I said, "I want that one if it's one of a kind." The other guy wanted it. Well, he said, "Well, we just happen to have two of them, but they advertise it as one of a kind."
Yes.
So that was a scam.
Yeah, you get up to the guy and said, I made about 20, 30 of them.
Yeah.
He made a
That's what the guy said. Yeah, I found him. He said he made 20 or 30 of them.
Oh. Yeah, talking about getting kids involved, last weekend was the youth waterfowl weekend, the last season of duck season. I think it was for active military or retired military too. But I got to take Michael to our buddy Drew's place over on Coldwater. It's called Cypress Break Hunting Club. And man, them kids had so much fun. It's fun watching them all get out there. We had a big blind. I think there was 5 guns in the blind, and our dads were all sitting in there, and I took Sadie the dog, and Michael kind of was holding down the end. This is his last time to youth hunt. He's 15, so he's aged out. But they killed several teal flew in. They killed some of those. They killed a couple greenheads, some pintails. And then we had this one group of mallards come in, and Michael just got on them, and man, he hammered one, folded it up, and the dog, Sadie goes to get it, and one of the guys that's there calling, he goes, that bird's banded. And so Michael usually don't get too excited. Man, you should have seen, he jumped down out of that blind and was running to the water trying to get to the dog. And then when they got up close enough, it was a double banded greenhead. had a money band on, $100 money band on it. And that's the first banded duck he ever killed. I said, man, that is a heck of a way to end up a duck season right there. And they killed over 1,000 birds this year at that club and hadn't seen a single band this year. That was the first banded bird killed there this year.
I couldn't count the amount of ducks that I've killed, and I've only killed one banded. For some reason.
I don't think he realized how rare that is.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. I mean, he knew it was
I
special.
don't know if it's more rare. I think it's more rare down this far than it is. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it may. I could be completely wrong, but I know I see a lot of guys with just necklaces full of them things, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know where they must travel a lot because I don't know if they're killing them all in Mississippi for sure. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'd never killed one. I never killed a banded bird. But on the thing, it's got. I guess they used to have the phone number and you had to call it in. It's got the website. So you go to register it and you put in all your information on both band or one band. If it's got two bands, you put that in there. And they don't mail you a certificate anymore. They just email it or you can download it right there.
Oh, really?
But you've got your certificate. It tells where that duck was captured, about how old they think it is. And so his bird, it was at least born in 2021 or 22 or sooner, it says on the certificate. It was banded in 9/11 of 23 in Bismarck, North Dakota by the North Dakota Game and Fish. So it had made that trip. I guess it's the bird's third trip down and back since it had been banded. So I don't know how rare it is and how many times they've, older bird, but have y'all checked? Did you ever call in any of the ones that you did?
Yeah, I got a certificate on mine, and that bird was old. It was really old. It was like 5 or 6 years old.
Have y'all ever killed a banded? I
killed a banded wood duck and called it in. They sent me a certificate back, and they said it was like 7 or 8 years old, but it wasn't a wood duck what they sent back.
The information on it?
Yeah, it was. I forgot what kind of duck it was, but it wasn't a wood duck. And I called them back again. They're, we made a mistake. We'll send you another one out, and I never got another one on it.
Have you got one more?
Yeah, but I can't say that I actually killed it.
So
I killed a wood duck and went to retrieve the wood duck, and as I grabbed
Jamie
the duck,
beat you to it.
Huh? Do what?
Jamie beat you to it.
I was hunting with Hunter and his dad Butch, and we was down at Arca Butler at Coldwater Point, matter of fact, and was hunting some timber, and we shot a couple ducks, and we went out there to get them, and I just happened to look up in the cypress tree, and there was a duck shoved down in like a V of the tree, and I don't know if a coon or something that got up there and been eating on it. Well, I just took my gun barrel and kind of poked it out of the tree. Well, it had a band on it. So
was it just a carcass?
Yeah, it was just a carcass. I mean, it still had feathers and stuff, but I mean, it was dead as a doorknob and something been eating on it. But I cut the band off of it, got the foot off of it, and carried it home, and I called it in, and it was a wood duck killed. Like I say, it was killed in Arca Butler. And when I called it in, that wood duck was tagged in Manitoba, Canada.
Wow.
And that's what the lady said. Now, where are you at again? And I told her, and she's like, you're in Mississippi. I said, yes, ma'am. And she's like, we've never seen a wood duck migrate that far.
Yeah.
And I've always thought they were pretty local. I mean, I know they might travel a couple states, but from Manitoba, Canada, Mississippi, that's a haul.
That's a long way. Did they know what year was it banded? Do you remember?
I would have killed that that would have been like 04, 03. I'll have to look back. I want to say it was 2 or 3 years. It wasn't like an extremely long
old
time.
duck. Yeah.
But I'll have to find that
Still,
certificate.
that's a long way for a wood duck to go from Canada.
And I mean, just what's the chances of me finding it dead?
Yeah.
And something else. I'm sure somebody at the lake crippled it in a coon or something and got it and pulled it up in the tree. But
we had one on that other hunt we went on where it shot one and it got caught up in I think Rob just happened to see it. But you heard it smack something. You ever shot one, just heard it smack, like it didn't hit the ground, it stuck in the tree.
Huh.
Yeah, so it could have been like that. It just that's where he went.
Yeah. Could have landed, got caught up in the tree.
Tell you what, them jokers are tougher than I don't know if it's the steel shot or what, but they're tougher than you think, man. There's most of the birds these kids were shooting took another shot or two to put them down. Michael folded them up. He's like a grown ass man out there hunting.
I can't hit a duck. I don't know. I don't know if I don't lead them enough or I just get so ticked off because steel shot, it takes more than one shot to knock them down.
You ain't let them get close enough. You gotta wait.
Yeah,
they're right there in your face. It's hard to miss them.
I like them to be close.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I always liked hunting timber more because we got down to Askew. I mean, you had a good hunt down there all the time. Mm-hmm. That's been 20 plus years ago.
It takes a duck so long to get turned around in timber. When he starts sailing in, he's committed.
Yeah.
It ain't no flying out real quick.
Well, that's going to take us on to talk about a little bit of habitat. And we released that video on, I think I recorded it for you, but Mikey did it. It was on soil testing.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, tell folks why it's important to do soil testing and when they should do it and how you should do it.
So you can soil test anytime. It's best we do it during the winter. So
the reason behind that?
Not really. I mean, there could be a theory behind it, but I mean, most time I just do it during the winter.
It gives you time to make that plan for the year, what you're going to do, right?
Yeah, it gives me time to look at what we're going to do, how much lime I need for the fields, if I need any, which most of the time we do.
Yeah.
And you get to write down, you take your soil sample, get bags, you put your sample down in it, you take this little thing, takes a plug of dirt out of the ground, and you put that down in there. And anyways, you write on the bag what field it is, and then you fill out, you go back to the co-op, and if you do it at the co-op, or you can take it to the extension office or anywhere like that. We use a private company because we seem to be getting better results or more results than just the basic stuff
that the government's giving you.
That the government's giving.
So what does that cost?
I don't know. I had to see what it cost this time.
I think it's $15.
I sent way more samples in this time. I got one for almost every field.
I think it's $15 from the extension office because I've went there before and they don't give you a whole lot of instructions. I think it's like a little envelope.
Yeah. See, that's what I got confused on. I had to get ours and come back and do it again because the first time that I did them, I think I sent them down to Mississippi State and all they took was just one plug.
Yeah.
Well, I had to fill these bags up with dirt that get almost to the top, about 3/4 of it.
It was probably 12 ounces of soil.
Yeah.
At least.
I took at least 5 to 6
for each sample
plugs and put in there.
So what you do is you pull plugs from different parts of the same field too.
That's what I was going to ask is, are you doing just one sample or are you trying to sample the field?
Food plot is or field is.
You're sampling. You're doing, you kind of, I'd walk 50 yards, take another one, walk 50 yards, take another one, walk 50 yards, take another one, and try to move around the field as much as possible. Because you're getting a reading off the entire field. You don't want to just get a reading just in this one spot.
You get a low-lying area.
A low-lying area where everything ran to, and it may be fine.
Well, it's important. I think it's important to do it because it's really going to save you money.
Well, that's
because if you don't have your soil right, you're not going to get the production you want out of it for your food plot or crop or whatever you're doing.
So once you get the samples, you fill out this form and you tell them what crop you're intending to plant in that field.
Could be clover.
Could be clover.
Could be corn.
Could be corn, beans, wheat. All that's on ours. So they're going to send me recommendations back for what I need to put on that ground as far as like where my pH is at. They should give me lime recommendations, like how many tons per acre. Mm-hmm. That way I'm not just going out there blind, throwing it down.
So the way we used to do it, we never did soil tests. We'd say, all right, we need lime. We might get the co-op to come and bring the fertilizer buggy and throw it like that, or we'd buy pelletized lime. But we didn't really know. We just knew that, hey, you're supposed to put out lime in the spring, and then you're supposed to put fertilizer. And we just used 13 where you're spending all this money on excess lime or excess fertilizer that you may not need. If you were to do that soil test, it may cost you a few dollars, but they're not expensive. That, it says I don't need lime this year, or I need double the lime this year. And then I don't need this much fertilizer. I just need, 0 2020 or, I don't need.
So if you just say if you were planting corn in the field, you decided not to plant corn no more, and you want to put clover in there. Clover likes acidic ground. So the pH doesn't necessarily have to be as neutral as it normally would be with like corn or other crops.
That's why it's important to tell them what you're going to put in the field.
Right.
So they can detail your report.
They tell you, this is what we recommend you put down. Instead of putting 2,500 pounds of lime per acre, you put down 500 pounds of lime per acre because your soil is right there at that, acidic level that clover's going to thrive in.
Think it makes a difference if you're planting a garden at home to even do a soil
Same
test?
thing.
Have y'all done that before?
Never soil tested my garden, but if you're constantly planting a garden in the same area, you need to soil test.
Because you don't realize that as you're planting crops or whatever, that's pulling nutrients out of the ground.
Plants don't produce as well as they should, or they don't get up as high as they should. It could be because your pH level in your soil is not.
You've done pulled the nutrients out. basically, or
That's
didn't have them there in the
You
first
don't have
place.
it. Yeah, you don't have your acidity and alkalinity correct for the plant you're
I
planting.
mean, same thing. You get people knock a product or a brand or seed because the seed's not any good. Well, actually, it's probably not the seed's problem. It's probably what you put it in is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you look how many years we planted dove fields out there where my house is built. Man, the first few years, you had 6-7 foot tall sunflowers. And the last year we planted, no, they might have been ankle foot. I mean, they wasn't nothing. And it's just that soil is toast. I mean, it's had sunflowers planted on it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. They never had anything put back.
No, yeah, triple 13.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't know what else to do.
I would say that's what most people do when you imagine.
I mean, all the
They
hunting
just
clubs I
go
was
to
in,
it, break some
Yeah.
ground, throw
I mean,
some seed, fertilize, triple 13, and roll on.
And most of the time, they're planting the same mix year in and year out.
Not rotating stuff out.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
your fertilizer recommendations got to be, you got to be throwing the right fertilizer down for those plants too. I mean, like your clover fields and stuff like that, you're not throwing nitrogen on those.
Or you're just wasting your money if you do, because they make their own, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're gonna throw a low nitrogen fertilizer like a 0-24-24 or 0-18-8, something like that.
Yeah.
Is what you're throwing on there, because if you put too much nitrogen into clover, it'll burn it.
Yeah.
Because it produces its own nitrogen and it doesn't need nitrogen.
A lot of times, like with what we're doing for food plots and stuff, if you're doing a year-round food plot plan and you're not harvesting anything off of it, you're actually leaving some nutrients, or
Right.
we try to, instead of just starting back over every year. We'll drill into some stuff, so we save money.
Right.
And you wouldn't know that if you wouldn't check in your soil and see. Like, we might not have had to fertilize last year or whatever, and then this year, well, we need some, or vice versa. They may say you don't need any, just keep doing what you're doing.
And
You got-
go
You got to
ahead,
remember,
Dan.
a lot of that stuff you put out now, you're not going to see results from that this year.
Yeah, especially lime.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
going to
be a
take
year
at
or
least
two.
a year and a half for you to uptake.
But your different areas on your property too, or even though you're planting corn, you don't want to do the exact same thing on a field that's up on a ridge as you do as one on the bottom either.
Just because different soil type.
Because it's different soil type, the nutrients may intake different on top of the ground, up on top of the ridge, than they do in the bottom of the field. They will, and so you really need to know what nutrients are still available there for the plants, and replace those if you can. Where like on the top of a ridge, it may be all your stuff may be running off of that one. It may not be taking up as much.
An important takeaway there is soil tests can be beneficial to you if you're planning on planting anything.
Yeah.
That way it gives you a jumping off start to know what you need to do to the ground to have a successful plot.
Yeah, because you're going to spend the money on seed. You're going to spend the time down there doing it and all that stuff. You want to make sure you're putting that crop into the best soil that you possibly can provide for it. That way it thrives and you didn't waste your money.
There you go. Well, last week we talked about that bison hunt. Went up to North Dakota, shot 5 bisons. We didn't really get into detail on how we got all that back.
From point A to point B.
Point B. So I thought that's what we'd talk about a little bit today.
Yeah, it was an
That
event.
started out, I didn't even go, but just that started out as,
Chaos.
well, it was kind of a simple plan, and more y'all got involved in it, more realized the plan wasn't going to work.
Well, so our idea was we knew we were bringing back 5 animals and they were going to be quartered up.
They were going to be a lot.
Yeah,
Big.
It was going to be a lot big. So what they did once we harvested these animals and they took them back to the ranch, they picked them up with a tractor, with forks, and skinned them and quartered them up and left them hanging.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cold that they could just leave them outside in the air as long as it was up high where nothing could get to them. They would basically freeze.
And they did.
And they did.
Froze when
So that's what they had. I mean, they had a couple tractors. They did have a refrigerator where the stuff that they cut up,
Yeah.
like the trim meat, they put it inside in a walk-in.
And I wish we'd had time to get pictures or videos of their processing facility, because it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Did you go in there? I didn't even
I
go
did.
in there.
It was super, super nice.
But we hung all that meat up overnight. Some of it hung 2 nights because it took us 2
Yeah.
days to shoot them all.
And it was snowing. It was ice
Yeah.
on the ground. I mean, it was
it was cold. It was
the last
cold.
morning we left, it was 2 degrees.
Yeah, so y'all know how cold this was. Well, the guys up there told us, bring a trailer or the back of your truck. We'll put a tarp down. We'll fill it up with snow, put the meat down, fill it up with more snow, put the tarp over it, and then you can take off. And
I was skeptical
We
when you
didn't
first
know about that. And I'm glad we didn't go that route.
Well, we kind of did.
We kind of did. So what they did, our buddy John had an enclosed trailer. And I don't know what size.
Like a 24 foot.
Yeah. the tandem axle trailer. He insulated the back of it. He built a wall, and that was where for our dry storage. That was where all of our gear went. And then behind that wall back, he put up like that. It was thin insulation.
Yeah, it was like the
sheathing.
bubble insulation.
Yeah, and then had a tarp laid down at the bottom, and we just went to putting everything in there. It was the quarters, the heads, the hides.
And we tried to stage it to where, so back up a little bit, y'all already had a place to take all the hides to be tanned.
Yeah, they were going to take those to the tannery in Duluth, Minnesota.
Right. So we staged everything in the trailer to where the meat that was coming back to Mississippi was at the very front. And then we had all the heads for the taxidermists, and then we had all the hides at the very back of the trailer. That way, Wes and them could just drop the gate, go to the tannery, or what was the place y'all took it to?
It was, I don't know the name of it, but I just know it was a tannery in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And they took out early. It was early that last morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Sunday or Monday morning. Monday morning. And I don't know, about 7 o'clock. It was early.
We got up and loaded the trailer, put all the meat in there we got about 4:30.
It was early.
You was a little under the weather that morning.
Yeah. I was bad.
I
had a good time that night after I shot mine. I played bartender a little too late.
You had to make up for the 2-mile scout and hike and all that. But anyway, so we got up that morning, got everything loaded, and it's cold as crap, and they rolled out. And then we went back, got in bed, lay down, because our flight wasn't till
noon or so.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah.
Because we didn't
we loaded our gear up. We were sitting back with them, and we're just trying to take carry-on backpack or something.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a bunch of luggage.
I loaded up too much.
Yeah, Mark loaded everything he had.
Yeah. I didn't think.
Including
my wallet, my driver's license, my debit card, my cash.
Everything. Medicine.
I had my heartburn medicine. That's it. And did not think about that until about 30 minutes before we're leaving to go to the airport, and I realized I don't have my driver's license.
And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but they ain't letting you in an airport without ID now. You can't get through security.
So
we were in panic mode.
You was in more panic mode than I was.
I was like, I'm about to leave Mark here.
Yeah, I'm going home.
I guess I could have rented you a car in my name and just let you drive it.
We would have figured something.
Ran out of gas.
Yeah. He wouldn't have. Yeah, I gave him a company card.
So I called Delta Airlines and I got on their little chat, whatever thing on their website and talked to somebody or a robot or somebody. It's like, go to the airport, tell them the situation, handle it. Okay. Well, I'm freaking out because airports are not very smooth flowing, and we're going,
TSA is usually not helpful.
Yeah, not at all. Because we're used to flying out of Memphis.
Yeah.
One of the worst. And we get up there, I walk up to the counter, I said, hey, I got an issue. I don't have his driver's license. I got a picture of it. I got a picture of my Social Security card. I got a picture of my passport. I got pictures of everything, but I ain't got it with me. And she's like, you don't have nothing. I said, no.
You had your heartburn medicine.
I had my heartburn medicine. She got any medicine? I said, yes. Does it have your name on it? Yes, ma'am. So long story short, I got on through. I had to do a little few inspections and different checks.
About a cavity search.
Yeah. Any gloves and KY involved?
Not yet.
They took Mark we were standing there and this lady comes out. She said, you come with me. She snapped that old gloves on.
Oh, yeah.
I said, well,
sorry,
Mark's finna get the run through.
So it wasn't that bad. I went back there. I did have to let them search my bag, which all I had was a backpack and laptop. So
they pat you down?
Yeah, they patted me down. It wasn't no big deal. So I was in there almost as fast as y'all.
Yeah, I was surprised. That was the smoothest airport to fly in and out of. They got 3 gates.
4 gates.
Yeah.
And pretty much I seen everybody in the entire airport within 10 minutes. It's a little bitty airport. So I walk over to Malcolm and I had this kind of not so serious face like we're in trouble. I walk over to Malcolm and said, Malcolm, I said, I need you to help me. And I said, this is kind of personal. He said, what? I said, well, they got to do a cavity search and they got to have a witness. And I said, you're going to have to be my witness. The look on his face. He wasn't sure if he was finna put the coffee down or he finna bow out or what the deal was. But we made it back to Mississippi with no cavity search.
It was no problem. We made it back no problem. Now the truck and trailer,
they had a hell of a time.
Had a little bit more trouble. They ran into a traffic jam then they sat there for several hours. Just on the interstate after they left Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they got all the way back to crossing the bridge at Arkansas.
Hit another traffic jam.
Yeah. Well, what happened? But something
hit
them or something, didn't it?
Yeah, if you're coming into Memphis from Arkansas, you got the north, south bridge, old bridge, new bridge. and they're always working on one or the other. And they had the old bridge shut down to one lane because they're redoing all of it. And they took the old bridge because it's usually quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And they got hung up some traffic, and apparently a irate 18-wheeler driver was going to come over regardless and pretty much sideswiped the trailer, went all the way down the side of the trailer. And I guess the 18-wheeler driver thought it was funny.
Oh.
I don't think Wes thought it was real funny.
No.
Were they stopped in traffic after that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
There was words exchanged.
Mr. West is not a guy that you want to get mad.
No.
I've only seen
He's a cool cat, but you get him
I've seen him
mad,
mad one time, and
like a flips.
He intimidates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if he
Switch.
does. Sorry, Wes. Love you to death, but you scare me. But anyways, we got to meet back home, and I wasn't worried about the meat, but that's what, 48 hours in a trailer? 36 hours in a trailer?
Right, 30. Yeah, it was something like that. They had to stop overnight.
Yeah, they had to stop overnight. And of course, further south you come, the warmer it gets. When we opened that trailer door, it was 31 degrees in that trailer.
Still.
it was when me and Mark.
That's a
was out
lot
there,
of mass.
It was still chunks of meat, like froze solid.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you got that much meat in there. There was thousands and thousands of frozen pounds of meat. It had to be cold.
Yeah. But
That wasn't a problem.
no, it wasn't a problem at all. So
Then we transferred it to a walk-in.
So I went out there with me and Mark, and it was several of us out there. And I had my Carhartt overalls on, my jacket. And I'm trying to be like kind of careful handling this stuff.
you can't.
Yeah.
Man, that's some of the biggest piece of meat I've ever seen. So you pretty much look like you're in kill mode. You got to throw it up over your shoulder. You're
You just got to
not
grab it and
clean.
go.
Yeah, you're nasty time to get through.
That's why you need that big white meat cut coat.
Yeah.
That way you can throw it in there with some bleach and get it back clean.
So basically what we did is once we got it back to Mississippi, we come up to a tractor and forks, and we hung ratchet straps, whatever we could to hang over the fork so we could hook the quarters on it.
Yeah.
And if the quarter, some of them might have had some grass on them from the field dressing, so we pressure washed them off, cleaned them up, and then we moved them all to Wes and them's big walk-in. And they got, what is that, a 20-foot enclosed box probably?
It probably is.
24,
Yeah.
22, 24 foot probably.
It's big.
It's like a reefer unit trailer that come off a box truck, similar. And super, super good walk-in cooler. And we got it all hung, and it was full. I mean, it was
jam-packed.
you think 5, so it was 20 quarters hanging, not counting the 2 rib cages
And all the trim.
and all the trim and cut meat.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much a hind quarter or front shoulder was about the size of average whitetail.
Yeah.
Whole
Hind quarter,
the whole carcass
Whole
of the
carcass,
whitetail.
yeah.
Each
those
quarter.
hind quarters weighed more than an average whitetail deer
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were substantial.
Yeah. I mean, it took 2 people to pick up front shoulder or hind quarter. So even the heads were like when so the taxidermist came.
He thought he was just going to grab it and pick it back in the
he said,
truck.
"I'll just come over to the truck and get those 5 heads." He didn't realize you had to have forks. Pick them up to get them up to the truck. They're that big. The head.
What Daniel killed, all I did was move it in the trailer, and there's no, I don't.
You
It's
couldn't
probably
pick it up.
250, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Pick it up and put it in the
But a mass
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And
Ain't
it's
like trying to pick up a dumbbell.
and
or
you can't grab it,
Yeah.
So
But he got them to the taxidermist.
we got them to the taxidermist, got the hides to the tanning facility. All that's handled. The meat is in Mississippi.
And we let it hang for about 2 weeks. Or
I figure from the kill date to dressing about a week and a half.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. We just it didn't get a lot of age on it, but it got some
It dried
age.
up enough.
Yeah.
And when you first brought this up before we ever went on the hunt, I was like, Malcolm, we can process this. Like, it's enough of us. We can handle this. No. There's
If we was
One
doing-
of them, yes.
one of them we could have. But it would have been a task.
Oh, it'd
been
have
a day job.
Yeah, it'd have been a full day,
So
5 or 6 men job.
Yeah.
what'll put it in perspective is I want everybody's opinion. When we process a deer, if you have 110-pound whitetail doe and you go to process it from start to finish, you're looking at 2 to 3 hours,
Yeah.
4 hours maybe. If you're grinding and
Everything.
vacuum sealing and all that, that's what, 50 pounds of meat,
Mhm.
40 pounds, and we had 3,000.
Yeah.
So no,
You'd
we'd have been there for 2 weeks cutting. on
burn
this-
up your own grinder if
Yeah.
you just had a personal grinder doing it.
So that's when you reached out to the.
I had been talking to those guys for several months. But that was a part of the dilemma we were coming up with. We knew we wanted that meat.
Yeah.
We weren't going to go all the way up there and not bring back meat and try to do something with it. So we wanted to see if we could find a local processor or somebody that could handle it. Well, I knew that there were some guys out west that did some mobile butchering like that, especially for game. But I got to look at Mississippi, and I found one place, and they said they're the only ones that they know of that do it, called Redemption Meats, and they're a mobile processor butcher. Like, so if you've got a cow or you've got your own hogs or something or sheep, they'll come out to you, dispatch them. If it's cow, I think they want to take it back to their place and put a 30-day age on it, let it hang, and then they'll cut it up there. But they have the capability to cut it up at your facility for like.
And these are not like no backyard redneck.
No, this is full blown professionals.
That was kind of what we were looking into. Is like, all right, we got these guys. We don't know these people from anybody.
Never met them. Yeah,
and they were wanting to haul back, all this bison meat, and I was like, man, I don't know. And luckily, these guys are super, super great people, and they're like, no, we'll definitely work out with y'all, and we'll process at y'all's facility. We put them up in a room at the cabin out there, and we took care of them. But I wouldn't have any problem sending them with meat. Like, I would trust them 100%
to take a cow, or bison or whatever.
Because you think about it, I mean, if you had a cow, a lot of your time and money's invested in that animal.
Yes.
And somebody said, well, I'm going to take it and process it. Then you go back in the back of your mind, well, I know how that goes.
They're getting my ribeyes. They're getting my fillets. They're getting, that's
and
what I was thinking.
It's just instinct.
They're going to give you ground. That's what you get. You go to deer processor, you end up with a bunch of ground. And where's your inner loins? Where's your back straps?
Yeah. You had so many bad experiences with,
It's hard to turn loose of that meat and let somebody else take it, and you assume you're getting back your meat.
Yeah. So talk about the process, Mark, of how y'all started with this. We had the front shoulders, hindquarters, saddles, and we had a bunch of trim and a bunch of cutoff stuff.
Neck roast, everything.
Yeah. So what was the process when those guys got there on facility? What did y'all do?
So we picked a date was the first step, and Malcolm said, hey, do you mind filming this and being a part of this? No, I have no problem. I filmed the hunt. I want to stick with it to the end. All right, well, it's the same days we're supposed to go on this big hunt.
Yeah. So we left and went down.
Y'all left me.
No, we went
South Mississippi.
South Mississippi.
Yeah.
No, I was getting pictures of this big lodge and fire pit and lake views, and I'm up there covered in bison blood, but it was a blast. So anyways, we get there, they bring their trailer, and when they show up with the trailer, it's probably a 53-foot gooseneck that's fully enclosed. It's got all the tools in it you could ever need to process an animal. And I kind of asked him, I said, how do we need to go about doing this? And he said, well, starting off, we're going to process all the quarters. We're going to cut everything off the quarters, get everything deboned. And anybody that you have, which we had, it was me, Mikey's son, Will. We had Wes. We had John. We had Mike Powell. Heck, Ben finally showed up, later. He was kind of slacking. I don't think he really put in much work on the grinding or no part. He showed up. He was a good moral support. But we had a bunch of guys helping us, and he was like, hey, all I want y'all to do is when we bring y'all a roast, if we say, hey, this is a roast, we're going to leave it whole, or if we're going to grind it, just clean it up. So that's basically what all of us did. I got in there and done some, deboning on some of the bigger cuts, learning, but 90% of it, they would debone it. They would cut the steaks, the roast, and then bring us trim, and we would clean it all up, get it ready for grinding.
So you're talking taking any sinew off, any excess fat, any stuff that looks bad or anything like that? That's what y'all did.
So that don't sound like much, but we spent 2 full days doing that. So we had just lugs and totes slam full of meat ready to be ground. I'm like, man.
Would y'all stick it back in the cooler once you got it ready for
once we got it ready? And I was like, man, we need to start grinding some of this. He's like, no, it won't be no problem. We can grind it in a few minutes. And I'm looking around. I mean, we got well over 1,000 pounds of grind. And I'm like, you're not going to grind this in a few minutes. Dude, that grinder. Yeah, we had everything ground in 20 minutes.
All of it?
All of it.
Holy
You put 200 pounds in there at a time, and it'd spit it out quick as you could put it in.
Did they just do one grind, or did they have to do 2?
We do 2. So
now this ain't not knocking it, but this ain't a limb grinder you get from.
No, this grinder's big as this couch me and Mikey sitting on. Yeah. Like it's a hoss.
Did it have like a container to hold all the cut up meat where you packed it down in there? Or
no, the hopper. You just you dump the whole. You put 200 pounds in the hopper at once and hit go,
and it would run through 200 pounds. How fast?
You could run a hopper in probably 3 minutes.
Wow.
Probably.
That's moving.
Oh, it was.
So you're just putting the lug down at the bottom and catching it, swapping them out as
you had more time trying to catch it coming out of the grinder than you did loading it or turning it on.
Yeah. So as fast as you flip the switch.
Fast as you flip the switch. So
you have to stamp it down in there?
You don't have to touch nothing. So the auger covers the whole bottom of you know how our meat mixer looks? Like how the big, just think of that being way bigger with the auger across the whole bottom. So it's pulling meat the whole auger's exposed.
Yeah.
So it's pulling meat the whole
You're
time.
not dropping enough.
You're not dropping it in a chute.
You don't
or
want to
nothing.
stick your arm down in that.
No.
Yeah.
But what I liked
But
about
it's more of an industrial grinder.
100%. Yeah. I think it was a Hobart. They had a 3-phase generator on their service truck that only ran the grinder. And I mean, it had an extension cord big around as my wrist that ran that grinder.
Yeah.
But so that was mainly it. It was like prepping it took a lot of time. And then I got in the trailer with the guys and they showed me, cutting ribeyes, cutting New York strips, getting the flat irons off the shoulders and, working and seeing all the cuts. And that was super, super neat.
So they were doing that inside while y'all were working on the trim.
Right.
And then they were packaging it all too. Because they vacuum seal everything?
Everything was vacuum sealed.
Except for the ground, and they did it in sleeves.
So we had their vacuum seal chamber vac. We had our meat maker chamber vac. And basically, anytime a steak or a roast would come out, me or Will or somebody would go over there and vacuum seal it. And then it had a scale, and you put it on a scale, and the scale would tell you, all right, this is a chuck roast. And it would print a tag out saying chuck roast, 3 pounds.
It looked just like you were at Kroger.
It looked like you bought it at Kroger.
Yeah.
And then we just started packaging it. I mean, we started every day about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we'd go, the first night, I think they went on up into like 10 or 11 o'clock that night cutting.
Yeah.
And then the next night, we had everything wrapped up by about 5. So we had probably 24 hours of nonstop processing.
Within 48, it was done.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought y'all would be working on it all week.
Yeah, I figured.
I knew when we get back from that hunting trip, we were going to come over there and have to jump in and help. And y'all were like,
Will said
Jamie
he had
told
enough.
us. Oh, really?
Yeah, Will said he was tired of seeing meat.
Yeah, he ain't no hurry to be a butcher.
Will got stuck on he done a lot of trimming, and then he got to run a lot of the sausage stuffer. So we had the meat maker, which it's a 25-pound stuffer?
Yeah.
25 or 30.
The one the processor had, I think it was a 150-pound processor or stuffer, excuse me.
Probably automatic one. You didn't have to crank on it like ours.
No, we had the new motorized one.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
I hadn't even used that yet.
Yeah, it was fine. But that took a little while stuffing that much ground beef because, I mean, you're talking about 1 pound packages times 1,000.
Yeah.
Or how many ever we went through. I have no idea. It was a lot.
So what'd you do with it after all that? Put it in freezers?
Put it in freezers, found as much freezer space as we could. We put some back in the walk-in until, you,
We could get it.
John, everybody come out there and get their portions. And it's still a ton out there. We still got to go out there and sort some.
I got a full big Yeti full, and that would barely scratch the surface of it.
But I would say watching these guys work and seeing how they do it, we didn't have that much waste at all. I mean, there was a little trim, some sinew, some gristle we'd cut off, but I think out of all that meat, we might have filled up one 30-gallon garbage bag with trim or something, like it wasn't as much as I thought we'd be throwing away.
Yeah.
And
really? So there wasn't just bones, I guess, right?
I mean, we had just a couple bones, but
in the scrap.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't bad at all.
What'd they do with all that? Throw it out in the ditch?
Yeah.
Coyote bait.
Coyote
bait. Yeah.
I think they killed some stuff with thermals off of it.
Did y'all have to add any extra fat or anything to it?
No. So
it was just straight bison.
Straight
Straight bison.
Now, when we were grinding, the processor guy, he was like, hey, Benny, do you mind cooking some of this grind to make sure the quality's where y'all want it, because we can change the grind process.
As far as texture,
we can make sure. I said, no. So I patted out a couple hamburgers, didn't add anything to them, seasoned them, and just put them on the grill and grilled them. And probably one of the better burgers.
Oh, John said it was fantastic.
It was delicious, but it's not much fat. But that meat has such a high water content. It's still juicy.
Yeah.
And like when I said,
I'd expect it to be dry.
I would too. Like when you fry it in a skillet for making spaghetti or something, it cooks out so much water. And that's what I can't figure out is like, that meat never touched water. Yeah. That's natural moisture in that animal. Like, why does a bison have so much water weight? Like, it's way more than a deer or, a cow or anything like that.
I noticed, so I made a big pot of chili with it, and I noticed that it cooked out a ton of moisture, but it wasn't greasy at all.
It wasn't greasy. It doesn't
it evaporates when you cook it out. Like, it cooks off in the skillet, but it was really, really good meat. I hadn't cooked anything. I hadn't done any of the steaks or anything yet. I still have some.
I done 2 sirloins, and they were phenomenal. I mean, super, super rich beefiness, no gaminess taste at all.
It's close to beef. I mean, I wouldn't say you're going to think it's the exact same ribeye to ribeye, beef ribeye versus bison ribeye, but it's very, very similar. It's definitely different than like venison or deer, whitetail or elk or anything like that.
It's very clean meat. And I enjoyed it. I learned a ton, and it was a lot to take in, a lot of work, but it was pretty cool.
Well, here's our question of the week then. When it comes to adding fat to your ground game, are y'all like team pork fat, team beef fat, or no fat, like for that bison? What's y'all's opinion on adding fat?
I used to add fat. I'd either do, it kind of depends, beef, or we used to a long time just do the bacon ends and pieces. And to me, it seems like it freezer burns quicker. It don't last as long in the freezer.
If you add fat? Yeah. So are you team no fat? Don't add any?
The deer I killed this year and some my dad I ground up last year, I didn't put no fat in it.
What about you?
So if I'm doing ground for like hamburgers, which I don't ever do a deer burger or nothing like that, but if I'm using it for chili and spaghetti, no fat. If it's just going to be ground deer, no fat. Now, if I'm making breakfast sausage, team pork all the way.
Add fat to it.
What about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing breakfast sausage or summer sausage, pork fat. But the regular ground, I ain't crazy about ground deer.
See, I'm not going to go out of my way and make a ground deer burger.
Really?
I mean, I'm just not. Like, I'll do a smash burger, and if I want to add some fat, squirt a little mayonnaise in it. That's all it needs.
Them deer burgers we ate down South Mississippi, well, that's where it was at.
Yeah, yeah.
They were
excellent.
They were very, very good.
Excellent. I thought they were. Well, so you'd rather just have sausage?
I'd rather have the breakfast sausage, the summer sausage, and then most of my, the rest of the muscles that are in the hindquarters and stuff, roast and things like that. So, I mean, I'll use a little bit of grind throughout the year, but not much.
Not much.
So I do. I mean,
I'm taking pork fat all day. I'm not crazy about putting beef fat with it. And I just think pork fat gives it a better flavor. I mean, I like deer burger, and I don't have a problem with.
Now, as long as you don't overcook them and get them like dusty dry, they're good.
Yeah. But like Mark said, that's a good tip. You can add a tablespoon of mayonnaise to your ground, and it'll be the fat for you without actually adding fat to it. It'll make it rich, and it'll
hold it together.
Hold it together. It's a good binder. So we want to know what y'all think. Y'all chime in on the comments. Do y'all add pork fat? Do y'all add beef fat? Or do y'all do no fat?
Because I know when we done that sausage video last year, everybody's like, oh, you got to use this fat. You got to use this fat. Why? Tell me.
Yeah,
I want to learn.
Why?
What are we missing out on?
I think pork fat it renders better. Like you do beef fat, some of it doesn't render as good. It's a stronger tasted fat. Like Jamie said, when you go back and freeze it, it changes the taste, the texture of it. And pork fat holds up better and doesn't get that flavor, that wanginess to it that beef fat can.
That and not all fats are the same.
That's right. That cow has a lot different kind of fat. I think there's 7 different kinds of fat on something like that. I went up to the what was it called? The Certified Angus Beef headquarters, and they did a butchery demo for us on breaking down a front primal and rear primal. And the lady that was doing it, leading it, was telling us all the different fats. And I believe it was 7 different ones. And she was like, now some of these fats are fine to eat. Some of them are nothing but trash. We always get rid of them. Some of them you turn into tallow. Some of them are great for adding to ground for extra fat to get that 70-30 or 80-20, whatever you want. So there is different fats. And I'm sure a pig does the same way. I've never been told that. But
you think when we grind up a pork butt, the difference in that versus when we went and got that pure fat from home place?
Yeah,
like that fat was so much better.
And that's a good place to get your fat. Like it's hard. You're not going to get it at a grocery store anymore. Used to, they were breaking down primal cuts. They always had some trim, and they would sell you or give you a lot of times for processing. Now most of them won't do it at all. But if you find these local farms like Home Place Pastures down in Como, they actually sell fat for that reason.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other places that do too.
Makes a difference.
Yep.
Well,
what are y'all cooking this week? Anything?
I've actually got some bison in the crock pot right now.
So tell us about that.
So when we were doing, I can't remember if these come off the front or the back. I think they were hindquarters. We had him cut some shanks. And I think, what's the proper name? Ossobuco or?
Ossobuco, yeah.
Ossobuco. So we had him do some shanks, and I was like, well, I'm going to try that. So I took them out, seared them last night. They were thawed. Seared them. They still got the bone in the center, still got all that bone marrow. Seared them off, put them in the crock pot, put onions, mushrooms, carrots, sweet potatoes, a lot more onions, made a little broth, little stock, and just let them go all night. And I checked them this morning. They were tender Tasted pretty good too, but I just let it sit on keep warm, so they're just going to kind of simmer all day today and break down.
There ain't no way that could be bad.
It can't be bad.
There ain't no way. You might have to recreate that for a video for Buck Junkies.
Well,
so why couldn't you do that with deer?
you can. Me and Jamie done it, and all I done is I took a hind quarter off a doe, took my knife and ringed around that bone, and then took a bone saw and just cut it. And I done it 3 times. So I got a shank, and then I got a bigger piece of a shank. Then I got the upper portion of the hind quarter, and it's a great big roast with the bone in the center.
Just about make you one of those Thor's
Yeah,
hammer roasts.
you could.
with deer.
You could.
Just like that, same way you're talking about.
But I did notice on the bison, you know how when you do deer that way, a lot of times it draws up a lot. That bison didn't.
Yeah.
Like it didn't expose the bone a lot. I mean, it's tender as can be, but it held its shape a lot better.
It's going to be interesting to see if it's as good because I love beef shanks.
Yes.
Beef shanks are
They're rich.
fantastic. Yeah.
It ought to be good.
Well, Mikey, what do we got coming up?
So we got our contest that we're still running. Just so y'all understand, it does not have to be a cork board. It can be any kind of board.
It's like just a wall or anything.
Yeah, your
deer
kill
camp or
board, you
whatever.
just a wall, whatever. Just where you keep your pictures at.
Mantle.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody's going to win. Well, I think we only got one person now, so he's
got 2 that's in there as of this morning. So,
right, so y'all better get in.
Is entered, so they got a pretty good chance of winning right now. So those of you that's listening may want to go ahead and take a picture of your board.
We got some new videos coming. What are we looking?
We got new videos coming. We got let's see, Mark's got a cleaning video coming up, a knife sharpening video. Yep. We got a rabbit hunting video coming up.
Best turkey call for beginners.
Best mouth call for beginners coming up. And then I think that's it.
Or at least that hunting with kids.
Hunting with kids yesterday.
Kids, yeah.
If y'all hadn't had that same experience Mark had, you hadn't had fun in the deer stand. And taking a kid with you, you know they're going to be into something.
I don't even think I looked out the windows of the stand that day.
And that's what it's about, getting out there and taking some young folks. So that made Jody's boy's day.
Oh, that song, we went to the gas station. He got more snacks. And he ate every one of them. Yeah. It don't matter if you had a 5-gallon bucket full of snacks. They was finna eat all of them.
Y'all talking about a kid. That's how I am most of the time.
We need to do a video of that hunt with Jamie.
In my backpack. I'm snacking, and I might snore a little bit.
Get out, use the bathroom.
Pee out of stand.
Good, clean living right there.
That's it. But we've got a couple.
Yeah, we got a new member too, Kyle Mann.
Yes,
on there.
Welcome to the community, Kyle Mann. Appreciate you chiming in, posting pictures of deer. We got the Beast and Brews coming up. It's coming up
March 1st.
March 1st. Senatobia, Mississippi. It's a wild game cook-off. So if y'all got some good recipes, heck, use some of our recipes. Go out there and enter it. I guarantee you'll do good.
Shoot me a message. I'll tell you that backstreet recipe.
We'll post a little info on that. If we hadn't already, I think we shared it.
It's on there.
Yeah, we've already shared it. But y'all go check out the Beast and Brews. That was a fun event last year. I guess the brews come in from all the local beers. They have a little beer garden, and then the beast part is all the cooking that goes on the side. So, and that's going to do us for today. I think we'll be back. I won't be here next week. I'm taking my wife on a little vacation.
We got a good guest filling in for you, though.
I'm going down to Mexico. I'm going to see if I can't hunt out a spot for us to take a trip back.
Go ahead.
I'm going to do some pre-scouting. Yeah, we'll get. What do they got down there? Those oscillated.
We go down there iguana hunt or something.
No, man, they got some ducks, doves. You can do some wing shooting down there. You can do bass fishing.
Well, they got them big peacock bass.
Yeah,
no, I don't know.
They got regular bass.
They got hybrids. But so I won't be here. But we got a guest coming to fill in for me. Is it Mr. David?
Yeah,
David Bagnus of Cat and Around Guide Service. He's a big catfisher guide on the Mississippi. So he'll be on here to tell us all about catfishing. So, Mark, take us on out.
Man, we appreciate y'all listening. Y'all make sure to follow us along on the community and the Buck Junkies Facebook page. Y'all help us grow, man. We're trying to show what real deer camp's about and have a good time doing it. So y'all share anything y'all got out there, and we appreciate y'all support. And we'll see y'all next time.
All right, we gone.